Hi, everybody. We are live. Welcome to GemWise for March. I'm so excited to see you. I'm sorry, AroMagic for March, I should say. Welcome, welcome. How are you guys? It's really good to see you. We had an AroMagic or a GemWise class earlier this week, a little bonus session. So you've already had one class this week if you're with me in all the programs. If not, you're seeing me for the first time in a little while. I hope you've been well. I hope you're excited about tonight. Tonight, we're talking about healing. And we've got some of the biggest healing guns in tonight's product lineup to talk about that I know of. And I've got some fun new recipes for you. I know you guys really enjoyed that last time. Beverly's here for the first time. If anybody else is here for the first time, I would love to just welcome you and tell you how happy I am that you're here. I'm excited because we have more sunlight than ever before, and we're turning our clocks forward this weekend, so won't have to worry about it getting dark during class, which is really nice. I don't know if you're excited about that, but I am. That's right, all the heals. So I'm going to start by just sound clearing the space a little bit. I want to invite you to do any of your opening or clearing rituals too. I'm going to do a little sound clearing, and then I'm going to smudge, and you can just kind of watch me do everything. And then we'll get started with our class. Cannot wait to get started. It's class time. And it's Teresa's first class. So I just want you to close your eyes. And, you know, there's lots of different ways to clear your space. Sound is one of the most beautiful ways to clear your space. And in fact, welcome, Teresa. It's her first class. In fact, you know, the pyramids in Egypt are sound chambers. That's all they are. Each one of the pyramids in Egypt aligns to a very specific sound that aligns to a specific chakra. And so in ancient Egyptian times, when someone needed healing, they would go to the appropriate pyramid, and they would be placed inside the sound chamber, and the sound would be activated, and it would bring healing to whoever was coming in for the healing. So I think this is really important. You know, I think we need to get back to sound. We need to start thinking more about sound. Danielle said she just cleared her space with sage and her shamanic drum. So whether you use a drum or a rattle, and there's lots of different, in fact, I'll grab a rattle just to show you another way to sound clear. Lots of different tools. So it's almost like when you were a kid and you had music class, remember? And the music teacher would bring out all of her fun instruments to show you. So I like to use crystal singing bowls and crystal singing tools. This is a singing bowl that has a handle. And you can, if you close your eyes for just a minute and listen, shut one of your senses off and just listen. You can hear the sound move from side to side. Liz is actually here. Hi, Liz. She's probably hearing it through the floor and through the computer screen. So just closing your eyes. So we actually have these singing bowls, a variety of singing bowls actually coming to Sage Goddess in the next couple of months. They're working on putting our Sage Goddess logo on them for me. So it would be like this, or having the flower of life engraved on them. Yeah, see, Terry can even hear it with her eyes open. And you know it's chords because glass wouldn't keep going. I'm not touching it, but this is still playing, right? Okay, so here's another alternative. This is a quartz pyramid. And you can play it this way. Oops, I got stuck on my rattle. Okay. Do you hear that? And here's... Did you hear that? Let me do that one more time for you. Isn't that fun? So beautiful. So there's that. Those are coming to the shop too in a couple of months. And then you can use rattles for the exact same or even this type of a rattle, which you've probably seen before. You made your own one. Just different ways of using sound. So it's all doing the same thing, albeit at a slightly different frequency, but it's clearing the energy, right? It does sound like a Karate Kid drum. So I highly recommend that you just over the course of your practice, don't run and you don't have to grab everything now, but just choose a couple of new sound tools for yourself over the next like 12 to 18 months and incorporate them into your practice. So even before you smudge, you can go over, your sacred space with your rattle, right? Here I am just kind of opening the circle. Doesn't it feel good? Wasn't that wonderful? Deanna says her chinchilla is into it, so that's always a good sign too. And some sound tools don't make a lot of sound, like I think I told you last time about this Tibetan singing bowl. You can feel this one, you can't hear it so well. It's low and deep, but I can feel it all the way out here. The vibration of this bowl is so intense. So some tools are more for listening and some are more for feeling, which I love too. So anyway, just something to inspire you a little bit, because I like you to think about your, did you hear that one? Could you hear it? That's kind of cool that you can hear that actually, because imagine you can hear that, imagine feeling it. Like the vibration of that is so intense. So once you do all of that, you've already really cleared your space in a way. And then when you come in for your smudge, that's just a different level and layer of clearing. So I'm going to burn a little bit of our ceremonial incense tonight. Just getting the charcoal ready. See how it turns orange? That's how you know you've got a live one. It's torch time. Here's my ceremonial incense. A brand new packet because I was out of mine. Do I have none left? Oh, I have a little bit left. I may not use the brand new one. I try and savor things, make them go as long as possible. Here you go. And there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Just a little bit more on top of there. Just a little bit for you. Beautiful Palo Santo, which is so healing. There's so many different wonderful things in here, like wormwood, just to relax you a little bit. It's really wonderful to burn at the end of a long day, because that little bit of, that wormwood is subtle, but it definitely does soften and relax you a little bit, sort of like a little glass of wine at the end of a long day. So if you like that, that's part of what you're experiencing or feeling is the wormwood in that blend. Is so good. Okay. And then last but not least, I still like to clear with white sage, especially as we come up to the full moon. You've got intense energies in the field, and we want to make sure that we're clearing all of that out. Am I out of butane? Might be. Oh, bummer. Am I all done lighting things tonight? Can it be? Let me find a backup lighter real quick. Okay, stay here for 2 seconds. I have to get a lighter. I'll be right back. Oh, thank you. What happens when the sage goddess can't burn things? All right, we've got fire, we've got sage right now. There we go. It's so funny. Some nights everything wants to catch on fire really good, and some nights it's like I have to talk it into it. There we go. Okay. Just sending. That's right. Oh, hi, you guys. No, Melinda, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's frustrating when you can't find what you need. Okay. So we have all of our, we have smudged, we have sound cleared, we have sound bathed ourselves. I'm going to take my my selenite wand and just go behind me as I always do, just to open this beautiful sacred circle, bring it around in front and close that energy off. And so our circle is open. The energy is clear. And I think it makes a big difference. Now, if you, talking about feathers and smudging tools and things like that, we actually have some smudge fans. These fans are coming to the shop in, I think, a couple of weeks. But really, if you just have a single feather, that works really, really well. You know, if you have a beautiful eagle feather or peacock feather or turkey feather, if you have any of those things, it works very well as a smudging tool. You don't have to get too fancy. So any questions before we get started? We're going to be talking about healing herbs tonight. So the things that you need to have with you, I have all my little tins open. This is your lemongrass. That's one of the herbs we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about calendula, which is one of my favorites. Calendula is a secret weapon, and you'll learn why tonight. It is pretty much everything. You can do everything with calendula. We have rosewood essential oil. It's not, the label isn't showing up on my camera there, but see rosewood right there. And then we have turmeric essential oil. Oh, that's so good. Cindy has a friend who has chickens and gives her the molted feathers. That works perfect. Where I live, there are wild peacocks, and so we have endless supplies of naturally shed wild peacock feathers, which is really nice because you don't want to be taking the poor birds' feathers from them against their will. So it's kind of nice if you can do it that way. Oh, thank you for that. Yes, you can. Beth says you can make a killer lip balm with calendula. Honestly, any skin products that you make, whether it's like facial serums or creams or any lip balms or lip glosses, should always have calendula in them. If not the actual herb, then get calendula essential oil and put the calendula oil in it. It is so softening, so soothing, antibacterial, antioxidant, which is why it's so good for your face, because you want to fight the free radicals, which are the little nasty things that are attacking your face and breaking down the collagen so that you have more fine lines and wrinkles. So you want that. You want all that softening and that antioxidant energy too. Okay, cool. So we are set. We are set for tonight. Couple things I want to tell you, because you guys have been asking about oil diffusers and how to use your oils to scent your home. This is one of the things I do, and I do it all year long. People, whenever they come to my house, they're always like, oh, we always wonder what your house is going to smell like, because I try to do something different. Like at the holidays, I do a lot of fir and spruce, and I did a little like sweet orange this holiday season too. And then in the spring, I like to diffuse more floral scents, like a gardenia or a jasmine. Those are two of my favorites. I love the white flowers, so I love rose too. And then in the fall, you can start to diffuse more spicy scents like clove and cinnamon, make your home smell like, you know, the fall season. So one of the best tools you can have are these, and I put them in the section on the website that has your class tools. So these are little essential oil diffusers. You might have seen these before, but just in case you want one and you didn't have one, I like this design because it has the little Moroccan detail on it. It's one of my favorite little shapes right there, the little quatrefoil. See the little, it's like a 4-leaf clover. So you just put your tea light in there. You put the top part on, and you pour your oil in here. And you can actually put a little jojoba oil in here first, and then put your essential oil in, and it'll make your essential oil last longer. That's a little tip. Because some people have said, oh, I don't want to diffuse my essential oils in one of those because it goes too quick. And so if you find that it's eating up your essential oil really fast, just put a little of your carrier oil, a little of your jojoba or your sweet almond in there, and it'll make your essential oil last much longer. Yeah, so Akasha is saying she likes her car diffuser. I actually have the same thing for your car in the shop. Did you know that? You plug it into your cigarette lighter and it diffuses any of your favorite Sage Goddess perfumes into your car. which is kind of fun too. We had those at the holidays. I thought that was a fun holiday gift, like for the person who kind of has everything, but maybe doesn't have a way to use their essential oils in their car. It's kind of fun to use it that way. So in terms of diffusing in water, so my personal opinion, we've talked about this before, is I don't digest essential oils. There are people who will tell you you should drink them and put them in tea and drink them in water. There will be people who tell you that you shouldn't. It really just comes down to safety on the one hand, because I can't tell you that every essential oil is safe for you at every time and phase in your life. That's just not true. There are some times like pregnancy where certain essential oils are contraindicated and you shouldn't use them while you're pregnant. I mean, there's some that are very well documented. So I always tell people, don't ingest. You can use them topically. And what I like to say is if you're using them topically, always put them in a carrier oil first. So the little bottles that I've been sending you, these little cutie pie drams, these are not cut with a carrier oil. These are just pure essential oil. So you would not want to put that directly on your skin. You want to put it in a little coconut oil or a little unscented lotion or some jojoba oil and then put it on your skin. And even though some oils are perfectly safe to be put directly on your skin, like lavender, for example, I still like to put it in a carrier oil. I was just using lavender oil with my son because he had a little bit of a rash on his shoulder from just being in the sun, playing and, clothes rubbing and stuff. So I put him in the bathtub. Yeah, these sample ones for your class are not cut either. Nothing for your class is cut unless it says so. Like the bath oil, I released that recipe for that bath oil, and we're going to put it in the shop for you in case you don't want to make it, you just want to buy it. But so that one's going to be cut with jojoba oil, but it will say on the label that it's cut. So if you look at all your products, it says 100% essential oil. So your samples are also pure essential oil too. Okay, cool. Well, so yeah, Hyperkitten's asking about myrrh on the gums. Look, I mean, when I had really terrible problems with teeth and gums a few years ago, I had a really bad tooth infection and I was really suffering. You better believe I was there with my clove oil on my gum because it really, really works. But just because by and large, I want you to be careful, and I would want you to do your diligence and do your homework and make sure that you don't have anything that would be contraindicated with the oils. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now, all the oils can go on your skin if you dilute them. But you should be aware, some people, so for example, we're not going to learn about cinnamon essential oil this year at all because almost everybody's allergic to it. I mean, truly, it is one of the most common skin allergies is cinnamon essential oil. And I just didn't want to, put it out there as one of the oils that we're going to study. There's lots of alternatives to cinnamon. There are very few cases where you think, oh, cinnamon, there's no alternative. I have to have cinnamon. The cinnamon has a lot of healing properties. It brings prosperity and abundance and business success and lots of other things. But there are other ways to work with it. Like you can work with it in the herb form and cinnamon stick or cinnamon bark or cinnamon chips and things like that. But you don't have to have the essential oil. Yeah, so you can diffuse in a glass bowl. Just be careful, okay, because you want to make sure when glass gets too hot, it will shatter on you. You can't put incense, for example, in a glass dish. If you put one of your charcoal discs on a glass dish or, in some cases even a gemstone dish and heat that charcoal disc up and start putting your incense on there, it will explode on you. So just be careful. Yeah, Annika says she's supposed to get a root canal. She wants to heal it naturally. That's exactly right. And we know that clove oil, we know that oregano oil, these are frankincense oil, highly antibacterial oils. And in fact, there's a tincture that I use and take internally that has frankincense oil in it. I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to look for you if you wanted to know what it was, but it's made by a company that's based in Las Vegas, and I love their tinctures. And you can definitely taste the frankincense in it, as frankincense is very, very healing. I always want you to be safe. Is my 2 cents for you. Hello. So yeah, so you can diffuse your oils, you can burn your oils, and technically the herbs from tonight are safe to ingest. Your calendula and your lemongrass are very frequently used as teas. I would just want you to do your diligence and your homework before you ingest anything and make sure that you don't have anything that is safe, unsafe for these herbs. Does that make sense, everybody? Are you good? Yeah, Amy, I've heard that too about codfish liver oil. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Yeah, and clove oil for sure. Absolutely, you can burn your oils. Remind me. So Jeannie wants to know about the tincture company. Just remind me in AroMagic. I'll go home and I'll look at my bottle and I'll take a picture and I'll link to it for you in case you're interested in any of that. Yeah, tonight's herbs you can burn if you want. You're safe to burn them. Lemongrass smells beautiful when you burn it. Lemongrass has so many properties, so I'm actually going to jump right in. Yeah, so Jessica, actually, we were talking about turmeric tea. I'm a huge tea person, I will tell you that. Like right now, what am I working with in tea? And I actually just learned about a new tea today from a friend of mine who has brought it from Mexico, and she's had a lot of success with that particular herb for stomach ulcers and indigestion and acid reflux. So I'm experimenting with this new herb from Mexico that I had never heard about before. So I'm always learning too. But I'm using goldenrod right now because I tend to have a lot of urinary tract problems. And I'm always trying to figure out how to alkalinize my system and also just improve my digestive system. So I'm working with goldenrod, and I just got that in a tea form that I'm going to try. I use uva ursi tea a lot. I use parsley tea. With my daughter, I use a lot of ginger, and then I take a turmeric and ginger tea every day. And that's for digestion. And I love it. But you know, the best turmeric and ginger tea, in my opinion, is when you just buy the root, slice it up, boil it in water. If you want something sweet, like a really yummy recipe, are you ready? If you make this tea, you seriously will come back and kiss me for it. It's so good. Are you ready? Go to the store, get a turmeric root. And turmeric root looks like ginger root. It's just more yellow-orange. Get a turmeric root, get a ginger root, and get some dates. Okay, this may sound crazy to you, but you got to go with me on it. Boil put some water, simmer some water, slice up your ginger root, slice up your turmeric root, and take the pits out of your dates. And boil all of that down. Now, I boil it for a couple of hours, 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours on low. Just let it simmer. The dates will start to sort of fall apart and get really sweet. So if you like a sweet tea, plus the dates have really good, healing properties for your body. Let that all kind of boil down. It's going to look gross, okay? Then take a nice big, strainer and push that mix through, and then pour it back into your Dutch oven or whatever you boiled it in. It is the most delicious. There's a little spice because of the ginger. There's sweetness from the dates. There's all the healing and antioxidant properties of the turmeric. You will love it so much. And seriously, and then just, go sit somewhere, light a candle, and give yourself like half an hour to drink that beautiful tea just really slowly, because it's almost like a dessert. Your body will thank you for it. Is it an Ayurvedic recipe? It's funny. Yeah, it's so good for you. It'll get you going to the bathroom real good the next day, so you'll be all regular. And it has a little bit of a diuretic property too, so if you're holding on to water, excess water. So yeah, I'll add the recipe to the room. But just remember, it's just a turmeric root, a ginger root, and about half a dozen dates in about 8 ounces of water. Let that cook down. That's the magic right there. So I love that. Yeah, it's poop juice. Jacqueline called it poop juice. I didn't want to call it that, Jacqueline, but since you did, I'm now going to refer to it forevermore as poop juice. You're getting your money's worth tonight on AroMagic, everybody. You just learned how to make poop juice. Yeah. Well, Amy's asking about pepper, and it does activate turmeric. So you could do a beautiful black pepper. You could add a little white pepper to it. You could add a little honey to it with your pepper. It's so good, and that's what I want to do. Like, I love giving you guys these recipes, and then because you guys always take it to the next level. You could put a beautiful piece of candied ginger in there and kind of, make it yummy that way. Because if you put candied ginger in your tea, it will fall to the bottom of your tea and soak up all of the taste of the herbs, but still keep that sweetness. So I like to do that and then drink all my tea, and at the end, like, scoop up that little candy ginger and eat that as kind of like the dessert at the end. It's so good. It's not really poop juice, guys, but honestly, it will look like poop, and so you will laugh when you make it. You'll say, God, you know what? I'm going to trust this woman. I don't know what she's getting me into right now. Except you're going to feel better. Annie, with me, it never lasts. So I don't know how long it lasts. I think you'd be good putting it in the fridge and drinking it the next day, would be my guess. And you absolutely can, Jenny, give it to kids. I'm trying to get my daughter to be more open to ginger and turmeric because it's so important for her digestive tract. And she loves dates, so I'm trying to get her into this tea. It's still a little spicy for her palate. I probably overdo it on the ginger. I could probably cut the ginger back a little bit and make it more interesting to her. Yeah, so Sarah, I'm one of those annoying cooks who doesn't measure, but I would say it's about 8 ounces of water, about half a dozen dates, and then a whole ginger root and a whole turmeric root, and just let it cook down. Pau d'Arco, Amy's asking about Pau d'Arco. Well, this is all Mariah, double check about nursing moms with all of those, with turmeric. The dates I think would be fine, but double check the turmeric and the ginger with your doctor just to make sure. You can mix it with anything. Pau d'Arco, who was asking about Pau d'Arco? Amy Smith was. Pau d'Arco, at least from a Native American perspective, is the most multifunction, multi-purpose healing herb that we have access to. Pau d'Arco pretty much does everything. It's hard to find and it is expensive, and so that's one of the reasons why you don't see it often. If you wanted me to carry it for you as one of our sets, I could do that, but it's one of those where it just has such a wide-ranging reputation. It's sort of like ashwagandha too, and some of these other herbs where they're so well known around the world in different traditions for doing almost everything. Kind of like nettle as well too. So the more you look, the more you're going to find. But one of the things I always do, like when I find out about a new medical condition in my family, if somebody has something, I start Googling, what are the best herbs for, and then, put the name of whatever the condition or the of the illness, and just do your research, and don't take the first thing that you hear. You got to be a good researcher and compare your facts. And if you find contradictory information, you got to kind of figure out why, why are you reading one thing over here and something else over here, and try to get underneath it. Carrie, I have not heard of those berries, but I always want to learn. So if you want to share with us, I would love to know more. Oh, it's so good. Margaret's saying she adds mint to her ginger and turmeric. Mint's good for you too. Mint is also excellent for the digestive tract. So that's a really good thing to add. Okay. So let's begin with our herbs. Let's jump right in with lemongrass. And lemongrass is one of those that does everything. So lemongrass, first and foremost, did you know, is for prosperity and abundance. It's true. It brings success. So what I want you to do is you can either take it in your hand or lift the tin up to your nose, but I want you to, sometimes when you crush your herbs, you get a little bit more of the oil out of them so you can smell them better, especially if they're dry. So just take your fingers, crush your herbs a little bit, and then bring it to your nose for a nice deep inhale of lemongrass. Yeah, definitely pinch them, because the more I'm pinching, the more I'm releasing the oil from the lemongrass. You can smell it on my finger too. And do that 3 times. One more time if you've done it twice. So good. Okay. So lemongrass, and part of the reason I was reassuring you it's very safe to burn lemongrass is it's actually a culinary herb. So is calendula, by the way. Calendula has been used as a garnish in different culinary circles. So some people use it to garnish a plate or to finish, a dish for whatever reason. And a lot of times it's because of the color. That dark yellow color looks beautiful against different meats and different fishes. So they're both culinary herbs, but they also can be very sweet too. Lemongrass tea can be a very sweet tea, especially depending on what you add to it. So you can take primarily lemongrass and make it almost savory or sweet, depending on how you treat it and what you work with it. Now, I prefer to work with it as a tea. And I like to take it with honey and sweeten it up a little bit because I love the lemon flavor. To me, it's like a clean lemon. It's not a lemon. It's not a lemon with a bite. You know what I mean? Like some lemon is just so bitter that you inhale it, but or in a perfume, lemon takes over. Regular lemon just kind of hijacks. But lemongrass is a little more subtle and it has a little bit of a kick to it. And that's why it pairs so beautifully with ginger and with turmeric. It really, really does. I mean, lemongrass with turmeric tea is absolutely stunning. Courtney's saying she uses cayenne pepper, ginger, and turmeric tea for energy. I love that. She calls it a fire starter. I'll say that's a fire starter. Yeah, and so here's the other thing too. Lemongrass will grow beautifully in your garden. If there's some of these where you say, gosh, I wish I could grow some of these. Lemongrass is as easy to start and keep alive as lavender and rosemary. I mean, lavender and rosemary, you almost can't kill them. If you have successfully killed lavender or rosemary, That's kind of hard to do. You get a little award for doing that. So Janine's asking about how to make it sweeter. You can use stevia, which is my favorite way to sweeten my tea if you don't want to add sugar. A lot of us are trying to avoid inflammation in our bodies. And sugar is the #1 culprit in terms of increasing inflammation in the body. So you have to, the first step to decreasing inflammation, which by the way, is at the root of most of our health problems in the West today. First step to decreasing inflammation is to really get your body rid of white flour and white sugar, which is responsible for inflammation. Now, honey's really, really good, and it's really cool, actually. I was having a conversation with Brooklyn on my team about a honey that she got from a certain part of Southern California where they experience a lot of what we call Santa Ana winds, and it kicks up a lot of the pollen and the dust and things that make so many of us here in Southern California have really terrible allergies during this season. My kids have worse allergies than I do, ironically. So they suffer a lot during the March and April. I always say it's their birthday season. And in this honey down in Orange County, they actually, where they pull the honey from, the bees have been carrying all of this through the environment. And so that honey is actually very helpful as an allergy treatment because it has all of that energy mixed into it as the bees have been moving through our environment and responding to and almost creating like allergens in response to their environment. So it's kind of a cool way of taking whatever is plaguing your local area and recognizing that the bees actually create almost an antidote with their honey. So honey is a really good way of healing too, especially if you can get some of the local honeys from your local farmer market and places like that where they're made from local bees and they can be helpful healing tools. Yes, you can burn lemongrass. Lemongrass is a culinary herb. Think about thyme and rosemary, for example. Thyme and rosemary are both culinary herbs. People make bruschetta out of them, or they cook steaks with rosemary on them and things like that. So anytime you have something that's a culinary herb, it is safe to burn. So in place of sugar, I like stevia because it's natural. You can certainly use honey. Agave syrup is another fantastic alternative. Although I will tell you, I see people take agave too far. I mean, agave, if you sit there and pour 8 or 10 ounces of agave syrup into a cup of tea, you still have a 300 or 400 calorie cup of tea. So I'm always watching people doing that going, at some point, that's not a health food. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can grow stevia. Lakeisha's talking about Belgian brown sugar. This is why I love these conversations, because you're going to learn from people, not just from me. I mean, I have 3 or 4 suggestions, but your peers probably have something that they can refer you to as well. I just highly recommend staying away from artificial sweeteners as much as you can. I've tried to remove them from my diet as much as I can. I have a slight problem with Diet Coke. I'm in an emotional relationship with it and I'm trying to break it off. But so I really only have at most one, a day. I don't have very much anymore, but that's my guilty pleasure. Date sugar is really good, though, to Rebecca's point. That's why I was telling you to put dates in your turmeric and ginger tea. You're going to love it. And then you can put dates in your lemongrass tea. You can put dates. If you were to come to my house and look in my freezer, you will always find a container of dates. I keep them in my freezer because that way they stay fresh, and then you can always pop them into your tea or you can pop them into a dessert. I love making, I have a recipe for date bars with walnuts that are so good. And the other thing you can do with dates, and this is like not relevant to what we're supposed to be talking about, but I'm just going to tell you one more thing. You can take dates, slice them down the middle, and stuff them with walnuts, whole walnuts. Have you ever done that? It's one of the most delicious little appetizers. And actually you can put, if you want to make it savory, you can actually put goat cheese in your date and then push the walnuts in. Get out of town. I'm telling you, so good. Yeah, Jennifer's asking about figs in place of dates for sure. And then figs, and like dates too, you can do the same thing. You can slice them down the middle and put them in a frying pan face down, let them caramelize a little bit, and then drizzle them with balsamic vinegar or balsamic glaze. That's a yummy situation. I think I'm just hungry. Let's move on. I know. Carrie's like, we need to stop. Let's talk about herbs. They're far less fattening. Okay. So let's talk about the cleansing properties. Literally, lemongrass does everything. So it clears the body, detoxifies the body. I have a recipe for you, 2 recipes actually for this session that both have lemongrass in them. One is about detoxification and the other one is about creativity, because lemongrass is also known to be an herb of inspiration. It brings new ideas for new products and new processes. And Jennifer's distracting me because she just said she made kefi with figs. And I kind of need to know more about that. So we'll have to talk about that later. That's pretty cool. Okay, so lemongrass. It's also sedating, mildly sedating and mildly uplifting. So lemongrass, for example, is in my Lift perfume, which if you've known about that one, that's my anti-anxiety blend, which, as you know, it was designed to be a mood enhancer. It's purifying. It's one of the staple ingredients in the Van oil that you hear about in New Orleans. We made a Sage Goddess version of the Van, which is about, Van's funny because in the South, Van is both a mist that you can use to keep pests away from you. It's really good for keeping mosquitoes away because it has citronella and lemon balm. But Van is also supposed to keep bad energy, bad juju away from you. So bad energy, mosquitoes, they all stay away from them. Kristen's asking about suggestions for drinks besides tea and water. Can I tell you that I am absolutely addicted to kombucha? I don't know if anybody else in this group drinks kombucha. I drink 16 ounces a day. I'm pretty religious about it. I have a brand that I love that you can get at Whole Foods. And honestly, it's my favorite thing. And you can actually find, there's a whole trend now in LA. They're making like kombucha martinis and kombucha mojitos. Like you're seeing, I'm hearing like, ew, and yeah, and gross, and yes. If you don't like kombucha, don't walk away from it forever. Try it and then take a break and come back to it, or try a different flavor, because there's a lavender kombucha that I absolutely love, and I think you'd love it too. So don't give up on kombucha just yet. Now, I'm not going to be making kombucha. That's gross to me, but I sure do want to drink it. I know, right? I'm telling you guys, kombucha is the business. Kombucha has enzymes in it. It has probiotics. I mean, if you have any kind of inflammatory condition or digestive condition, kombucha is the business. I bet it was not fun to make, Samantha. I can only imagine that. I would have to go and get my jar out of the refrigerator to show you the brand on the top. It's not the tip of my tongue. I'm trying to remember what the brand is. But if you look up lavender kombucha on Amazon, you can find it. It's so good for you guys. So anyway, Kristen was asking for a suggestion. Okay, back to lemongrass. It actually helps with dreams. Did you know that? Dreams and creativity. So they say that if you put a little bit of lemongrass in your pillow or under your pillow, that you'll have dreams about what you're supposed to do with your life or what you're supposed to create with your life. So that's one idea. I do have a friend who makes little dream pouches, and she puts lavender and a little bit of mugwort in there, and she puts lemongrass in there too, because it is a sedative, does help you sleep better. And it's in one of those pouches that, you know those things that you like warm up and you can put them on your shoulders to like relax your shoulders. She made one of those, and it has lavender and lemongrass and stuff in it. So it does help you with sleep. It does help you with sleep. Okay, so let me tell you about a bath blend that I recommend. And you don't have to write these recipes down like I did last time. I will put them in your classroom, but just in case you want them now, here is your my recommended, what I'm calling the Creative Fire or Creative Passion Bath Blend. Are you ready? Okay, so for this, you need about 8 or 9 ounces of sea salt. If you want to just make it for yourself, like a personal batch, I would do 8 or 9 ounces of sea salt. And then you do 1 part of blue lotus leaf, okay? 1 part green tea powder, matcha powder, M-A-T-C-H-A, matcha. Like if you go to Starbucks and have a green tea latte, the powder that they put in there is matcha powder. So 1 part blue lotus leaf herb, 1 part green tea powder, matcha powder, 1 part turmeric powder, and then about 20 drops of lemongrass essential oil with your bath salts. And just put that in a big bowl. And I like to use my hands, but you can use a big wooden spoon if you like that better. not only is it going to make you the most beautiful bath salts you've ever seen, because that matcha powder will turn your bath salts green, like this beautiful kind of limey sage green. But it's also going to release into your bath the turmeric, which is going to help detoxify your skin and also purify your adrenals. It has the lemongrass, which is going to be for inspiration. It's going to help you sleep better. This would be a fantastic bath for you right before you go to bed. And by the way, everything I'm telling you about in the herb blend, you could actually make this as an essential oil blend and just keep it by your bathtub and put a couple of drops in when you take a bath. I'd highly recommend that. So if you wanted me to, I could make this in an essential oil blend if you wanted me to with the Blue Lotus essential oil, or I can make it in an herb blend. Some of you like to do like a bath tea or a bath salt, so it's kind of up to you. It does not stain your tub. And I don't put a lot of turmeric in. Certainly if you put, you know, you'd have to put a lot. I think even if you, I think you'd have to even put more than this vial in your bathtub to stain it. But I tend to put very, very, very little turmeric. So you can do the Blue Lotus essential oil with the lemongrass essential oil and the turmeric essential oil, put it in a little bit of sweet almond or some jojoba, and put a couple drops in your in your bathtub. Right? But sometimes the herbs are nice too. And to do like a nice bath tea, just remember I was teaching about those disposable tea bags and how you can sort of fill them with your herbs. You can put that in a cup and drink it as a tea, or you can put it in your bathtub and let your bathtub steep. That's a fun thing too. And by the way, if you have kids, I can't even tell you how much kids love this. When my kids see me with those disposable tea bags near the bathtub, they're like, oh my God, we're doing a tea bath. Because they like to see the water turn colors, you know, like letting the bath water steep. Even my son gets into it. He's almost 10 years old. Yeah, magic eraser. There's always that. Jennifer, for me, the White Lotus doesn't have the same relaxing and sedating and third eye opening properties as the Blue Lotus. But if it does for you, then I would say to use it. It wouldn't be a good sub for me because I don't have the same reaction to White Lotus as I do to Blue Lotus, but it's up to you. Vanessa says she has trouble with bath salts and lemon bits. So maybe an oil blend for you would be better. Some people don't like using bath salts, and I understand that. I really do. Yeah, you can get your tea bags on Amazon. That's the best way to get them. I usually try to send, I'm going to go shut the blinds for just a second. I usually try to send 1 or 2 with the teas when you buy them from Sage Goddess, but you should have a little arsenal of those tea bags at your disposal. Okay, I'm back. Once again, so happy I had to do that because that means we have sunlight longer here in Southern California. So I am not complaining about having to close that shade. I've been waiting for this season to come. Okay, so you want to, if you do the bath tea, or if you do even the oils, you want to let all that sit in the water for about 10-15 minutes to make sure that your water, because this is a medicinal bath, right? So you want to make sure that the water has fully absorbed the properties of the calendula or the turmeric and the Blue Lotus and the matcha before you get in. So that is a beautiful bath for you before you go to bed at night. Any questions about lemongrass? Lemongrass is from Asia, sun sign Virgo. It can be an alternative herb for the sun sign Taurus. It is a masculine herb, element of air. The planet correspondence is Mercury. Okay, so sun sign Virgo or Taurus as an alternative. It's a masculine herb, element of air, planet Mercury. Okay. So for the for me, for 9 ounces of bath salts, if you're making a lemongrass bath salt blend, I'd say about 20 drops of lemongrass essential oil to about 8 or 9 ounces of bath salt, which is that's a nice size container. That's about ½ a pound of bath salts. And that will last you, that should last you for at least a few weeks. I mean, unless you're just a bathing fool. Yeah. And there are bathing fools in the world. Yeah, so Christy's asking about how would you use it for a shower. Sometimes what I like to do in the shower, Christy, is I like to get myself a sponge or one of those loofahs, and I like to use the essential oils in my shower instead. So you can keep your little essential oil blend, you know, use the same ingredients I just told you about, but make it into an essential oil blend. Just put a couple of drops in your sponge or your loofah and then go over your body that way. You know, and you can even sort of squeeze your sponge close to your nose to like release all the oils and inhale. And if you do that, it's going to release it into your shower too. So I like to do that with a sponge. So that is lemongrass. Let's talk about calendula. And then we're gonna, when we get to turmeric, recipe. When we get to rosewood, we're gonna talk about lemongrass again, because I made you a recipe tonight for a healing balm. Probably the best healing balm you can make. And I want you to make it and keep it in your medicine cabinet because it's good for cuts and scrapes and burns, and it's even good for bruises. It's good for stretch marks. It's good for everything. But this would be somebody that you'd want to wait for this until after, you know, when you, if you're pregnant, for example, you'd want to wait till after your baby is born to use this for your stretch marks. Okay, so let's talk about calendula a little bit. So calendula, the Latin name is Calendula officinalis. You either find it in Europe or you find it in Africa. So there's really primarily two locations where it's harvested for medicinal purposes. You'll find calendula, I mean, marigolds, you probably have them in your backyard. But in terms of like bulk quantities that we would use for herbal healing, primarily comes from the northern part of Africa. So not South Africa, but northern Africa, and then southern and central Europe. Okay, so let's talk about calendula. The correspondence is zodiac sign is Aries, which I think is interesting. It's sort of a bright orange herb or flower, and so it's kind of fiery. So I thought that was kind of a cool correspondence. Gender is masculine, probably won't surprise you. Planet is sun, again, probably won't surprise you. And then element of fire. Yes, it is, Lakeisha. Blue lotus, a lot of people actually like to smoke blue lotus as an alternative, kind of a sedative. Even if you just burn it as an incense and you stay in that space for an hour or two, you'll be feeling very relaxed. Okay, calendula. So let's take a look at our calendula, shall we? Get your little tin. And you can actually see, it's part of what I love. If you take it out, you can actually see your little marigold. And look, this is an intact little flower. Isn't that beautiful? Well, here's another one. Literally looks like maybe a little, you know how little kids love to pick these and bring them to you, like, oh, look, I picked you a flower. Okay, I want you to grab a pinch of it. I want you to mush it with your fingers to release the oil, and then take a nice deep inhale. Oh, Sharon likes that when I have the blue lotus tea here before Journey. I try to do that. Before Journey, because it just relaxes people. People tend to be nervous before Journey. And I just find if they have a little something to take the edge off, then they're actually more able to have a nice spiritual experience. Aww. Yeah, they are. Calendula is marigold. And they are actually very, very good. Fran was saying they're good in salads. You do find this as a garnish for dishes because it's edible. Calendula is edible. Okay, so there it is. Okay. Now, interestingly, too, a long time ago, this is hundreds of years back, but in England and in Ireland, they used calendula in soups to give it flavor, and it was easily accessible, right? Almost everybody had marigolds in their yard, so it was easy to find, easy to grow, and they did. Much like we think of bay leaves, you know, when you just like, oh, let's just throw a bay leaf in the soup. Calendula, marigolds were used much the same way. They have a lot of nutritional benefits. My friend Elaine, who's a shaman who comes here, actually makes green smoothies out of her yard, and she takes the marigolds right out of her garden, pulls them out of the ground, dirt and everything, and throws them in the juicer because it's actually really good for you to do that. And my gastroenterologist told me years ago, you know, very few people would have, or at least far fewer people would have Crohn's disease and IBS and all these things if we didn't use so much hand sanitizer. You know, we're so afraid of getting dirty that we end up creating these unhealthy but very clean environments, you know, but we weren't meant to live so far away from the dirt. It's kind of funny. Okay, so it's bittersweet salty herb, stimulates the liver, the gallbladder, as well as the uterus. That's why we primarily don't want to use calendula when you are pregnant or nursing. Now, it does soothe inflammation. It helps to stop bleeding. Even if you have a cut, did you know if you take a piece of calendula and put it onto the cut, it will actually help to stop the flow of bleeding. So there's that. Especially if you have something that's been slow to heal, a little bit of calendula oil on it will do wonders. Have you ever had a cut like that, or a scrape where you think, God, that was 2 or 3 weeks ago, the thing's not healing? Just a little bit of calendula oil, especially if you mix it with tea tree or with lavender or eucalyptus, the combination of those is extremely helpful. It's an interesting question. Kristen's asking about menstrual flow. I don't know. I haven't heard that it slows menstrual flow. But honestly, if you're having problems like that, it probably wouldn't hurt for you to take a calendula tea. But again, as I always say, you want to talk to doctors before you do that. Okay. Really good for ulcers. Really, really good. And in fact, quite a few. Rosewood is also good. Lemongrass is also good for ulcers. And so there's quite a few of the herbs that we're studying that are really, really good for stomach pain. No. Okay. Yeah, it does make, that's why I was saying, Love Water was saying it makes the uterus contract. It can. So I want to make sure I say again, don't use calendula if you are pregnant or nursing. Okay. All right, so here's a detox tea. Are you ready? Because calendula is such a powerful detoxification herb. And for me, this tea is not just detoxing your body, but also detoxing spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. And I think there's a couple things you can do to detox. Are you ready? First of all, there are specific stones for detoxification. Sugilite and amethyst are the best of the best, especially if you're trying to kick a habit. For example, if you've been doing something, you want to try to get into a better way of eating or anything like that, those stones are really good. Salt baths are really important. You should take a salt bath at least once a week. I take one pretty much every day. Just a little Himalayan salt, nothing too crazy. And I don't put much in there, maybe just a small handful, but just put the salt in the bath as you're letting the water, you know, drawing your water, and then hop in. So good for you. And then drink your detox tea. And you can actually make a ritual out of this. You could gather these herbs, keep them in your kitchen, pre-fill your little bags so that whenever you want a cup of this tea, the bags are just there ready for you. Draw your bath and make yourself some detox tea. If I lived near where you live right now, I'd come to your house and draw you a bath and make you some detox tea, but you can do this for yourself when you get home tonight. Yes, thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca was reminding us not to overdo the turmeric or ginger if you're on blood thinners. I will say this, if you're on any kind of medication, please talk to your doctor before you start using herbs. They're most likely not going to tell you it's a bad thing to use herbs, but have the conversation. Do you know what I mean? And there are certain things, like cases like this, where things can be counterindicated. Not very many, but I just want you to be safe. So that's a helpful reminder. Okay, so here's your detox tea. Are you ready? Ready? This is also really good for your stomach too. 1 part of calendula leaf, which you have already in your little tin. 1 part licorice root, which is very easy to find. And in fact, if you go to Whole Foods and you look up teas for stomach, you're actually going to find licorice root on its own because it's so calming and soothing to the entire digestive tract, from your mouth and your throat and your esophagus all the way down to your large intestine. So 1 part licorice root, 1 part dandelion root, which is also very good for ulcers, very good to reduce inflammation, and then 1 part milk thistle. And again, I'll put this whole recipe. I'll put this in your classroom, and I'm also offering these things too. So if one of these sounds good to you, but you have a hard time finding the herb, you can also wait, because we'll try to offer this for you as well. The detox stones are sugilite and amethyst. And we know that from ancient times, by the way, at least with amethyst, because amethistos in Greek means not drunk. And so the Greeks believed that if they worked with amethyst, if they held it, if they put it in a glass of water and drank that after they drank wine, they wouldn't have a hangover. So they've been using it for detoxification for thousands of years. We're just kind of catching up. Gosh, that's going to put Jägermeister to sub the licorice. You're my kind of girl, but no, sadly, Jägermeister does not have the same healing properties. Okay, So what do? You combine, I do equal parts. So the milk thistle, the licorice root, the calendula, and the dandelion, or the I'm sorry, the dandelion root with the calendula leaf, the milk thistle, and the licorice root, all equal parts. You can use fennel, and in fact, you don't have to use fennel instead. You can use fennel in addition to everything else, because fennel is going to have properties that add on to all of this. Or you can do it in place of licorice root. So if you don't have licorice root, fennel would be a good substitute for that. Yeah. So put all those together in your little pouch, steep for about 3 to 5 minutes, then drink. It's not going to get terribly dark, so don't wait for that. But I will say, don't drink this as a tea if you are nursing, pregnant, or trying to become pregnant, or if you have liver or heart conditions. Because while it can detox the liver, you also want to make sure that if you have liver problems, that you're not on any medication that would be counterindicated for that. Sharon, hi. I want to make sure I see you. You can actually put these in your juicer too, or in a smoothie. You can, but I think you get more of the energetic and the healing properties out of it if you warm these in tea and take it as tea. Yeah, so that's what I was saying before, Misha. It's a great question if you don't have a bathtub. And a lot of people don't. I might turn on my light here in just a minute, by the way, so I want to make sure you can see me well enough. If you don't have a bath, I think you can do a couple of different things. You can add, this is actually really important, you can take your jar of bath salts and you can add more jojoba to it, okay, or more sweet almond to it, until it almost makes like a scrub. Does that make sense? So let's say you have a jar like, I don't know, a 4 or 6 ounce jar like that. Fill it up about 1/3 of the way with jojoba oil and use a finer salt. So instead of using a coarse salt, only use a coarse salt if you're going to make a bath salt for the bath. If you're going to make a scrub, use a finer salt, more of your jojoba or your carrier oil, and what that's going to do is make a scrub. And then that's a beautiful thing to take in the shower and just rub on. And then again, you should get a nice loofah. I love a good body brush. You can get them on Amazon, or you can get them at Whole Foods, or Sprouts, or any of your healthy food stores. And then just go over, put a little bit on your back and scrub your back. If you have cellulite at all, you should be dry brushing every day. Have we talked about this? And doing it in the shower is the best place to dry brush. Let me go turn on my light really quick and I will be right back. But this is an important topic for us. Hello, I'm back. Look, you can see me. Woohoo! Okay, dry brushing. I'm going to change your life. Are you ready for me to change your life right now? So, let there be light. This is really important. Seriously, no joke. And not only is it good for your appearance, it's good for your circulation. So what you do is you can get a short dry brush or a long dry brush, and it looks like a hairbrush. It's a long handled brush, and it has the top of the brush is about this big, and they're usually made with boar bristles, but they're usually a soft kind of bristle because you're going to go over your skin. And by the way, my kids ask me to do this for them every night because it feels good. It feels like you're scratching their back. Because I don't know about you, but my kids get like little bumps on the back of their arms, and they get bumps on the back of their neck sometimes. So take your essential oil blend. I like to use certain oils for cellulite. Remember, you've seen my Shed essential oil blend. That's for cellulite. Birch is really important for cellulite. I'll tell you that. It's one of the best that you can use to remove cellulite. And you can put your essential oil, especially if you're using Shed, which is cut with a little jojoba so it's skin safe. Put that on your dry brush. I mean, literally just take a few drops in your hand and apply it to the bristles of your brush, or just drop a few drops on your brush, and then over your skin you go. Do it for as long as you can tolerate. I mean, it's not easy, especially if you've never done it before. Your skin's going to get really red. It gets red because all the blood is coming to the surface. And what does that do? It takes off a layer of dead skin cells, so it's a nice exfoliation. It reveals softer skin underneath, and it also moves cellulite around. This is no joke. And even if you've had cellulite for a long time, even when my weight fluctuates, I never have cellulite because I do this. I'm religious about this, so you have to get in it too. And then get your kids in it and get your husband in it, because they'll love the feeling when your back is clean. You know how it's hard to clean your own back in the shower, but if you have a dry brush, you don't need anybody in there with you. It's a pretty awesome thing. Yeah. Okay, so is that helpful? Yeah, the naked oils, it's naked and shed have slightly different ingredients, but they're both good for weight loss. Shed has essential oils that help to keep your appetite from being so strong. So it has that extra benefit to it. And then naked just has an extra ingredient specifically for cellulite, but they're both really good for it. Yeah, any loofah, if you like that better. Have you seen the loofahs that come on the handle brushes? Have you seen those? They have them at Whole Foods sometimes. And that's kind of a cool thing too, you know, because that way you have a loofah, but it's on a handle so you can get to your back. And number one thing to do in the shower is the back of your legs, from behind your knee all the way up to your butt. And just pull that brush up. Like I get in there and sounds funny, but I'm pulling that brush up from the back of my knee all the way to basically to the bottom of my, like where your tailbone is. And just pull that brush up. Try to do it 10 or 15 times a day. You will see such a difference. And I do. So I keep my brush in my shower. I hang it. Do you have a little hanger thing on your nozzle? I have one and I hang my brush there. And you don't have to have a Whole Foods, just go to Amazon and type in dry brush. And thank me later when your butt looks great. Now, do it in the shower, you guys. It's easier. It's easier in the shower. If you drew it dry, it's a little harder. So that's why I just do it in the shower. I keep it hanging in the shower. I've got my oil blend in there, a little bit on the brush, up and down, back of arms, back of my, my neck. It takes 2 minutes, and it's cheap. And your skin will look so good. You can even, as you get a little older, ladies, you know how we get these little, I don't know about you, but in our 40s and 50s, we tend to get these little wrinkles and stuff here, right over here, gently with the dry brush. It even takes uneven skin and wrinkles and stuff out of there. It's so good. It's so good. So, and then make sure you hang it in a place where it will dry out, so you don't get funk on your dry brush. Amazon probably thinks, what the hell is happening right now? Why are there 50 women buying a dry brush? Because they're awesome and they're gonna change their behinds. Yeah, just right here, but do it gently. Don't do it up here because this skin is really sensitive. There's a whole other protocol for keeping your skin nice here. So don't do it here, but I'm saying here to here, right on the girls, just a little bit across. You'll love it. Okay. So we talked about our detox tea. We talked about cellulite. Look at us covering so many bases tonight. Oops. Okay. Any questions before we talk about turmeric, which is next? Any questions? Right? In terms of breast imbalance, that I don't know. That I can't help you with. That may be in the hands of a skilled doctor. I don't know, actually. Aw, Lakeisha, it's fun. And you know what I think? I mean, my hope is maybe I show you 5 or 10 new things every time we get together. And obviously we go way beyond, obviously the 4 herbs that we're studying for the class. We talk about all kinds of things. And maybe you find one great thing that you love. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you walk away with one new habit or one new practice or one new herb that you're excited about every time, I think that's a win, because that's how you're actually going to change your life. You're not going to make 100 new changes right now, but one's really good, especially if you stick with it. It makes a big, big difference. The stretch mark recipe, I need to write this down for you and make it for you, I think. It's carrot seed oil, rosehip seed oil with lavender and rose. I think that's all I did for the stretch mark oil that I made and used. So good. Oh my gosh. And dry brushing is really good for acne. If you have any pimples on your back or anything, you're going to love me for that. Okay. Let's talk about turmeric. Grab your bottle if you have it. Oh, I can't even tell you how much I love the smell of turmeric essential oil. Do you love it? Do you love it? I really want to know if you love it. If you don't, it's okay. You can come out and tell me that you don't love it, but holy cow. Ooh. Yeah, I thought I put the stretch mark recipe in the notes, but if I didn't, I'll just remind me and I'll go back and do it. I tried to remember to do that. Oh, I'm so glad you like it. Yay! It's not what you expect, right? You think, oh, turmeric essential oil. Now it's okay. It's skin safe for most people. I applied a little bit just now to my wrist because honestly, I love smelling like that. Let me tell you how good this is when you combine it with rose or ylang ylang or lavender. Can I just tell you, seriously, you'll end up wanting more of this because you're going to start blending it with things and going, oh my God, I just made a turmeric rose perfume and it's like my favorite thing ever. Or turmeric jasmine or turmeric lemongrass. It's the business. It's so good. Okay. Turmeric, curcuma longa is the scientific name, the Latin name. From Asia, it is a masculine, associated technically with sun sign Aries, again. Now, it's aligned to different planets, Mercury and Jupiter, as well as Mars, elements of air and fire. That's a good call, Jennifer, actually, to do a detox bath blend. That might be a good one to do. Because I know a lot of us want to use the bath to detox, and we know how good it is for us to do that. And yet it's like to do it right, you know, to really have those 10 or 11 essential oils is kind of a lot. So maybe what I'll do is kind of a detox bath oil blend. And that way, if you want to add it to salts, you can, or if you want to just put it in your bath, you can, or you can add it to lotion or whatever you'd want to do with it. Yeah, multiple planets, Kathleen. Mercury, Jupiter, Mars. So it just has a lot of correspondences. Okay. Now, this is related to ginger. Turmeric is. I think you knew that. But so it's really no surprise that they're so, you know, sympathetic with each other in terms of their healing properties. It's one of the most potent anti-inflammatory and anti-carcinogenic herbs that we can work with, truly. I really believe that if you have any kind of serious illness or disease in your family's lineage, you should start to incorporate turmeric. Now, the standardized dose, and this is me doing my homework and my research because, you know, a lot of times it's hard to find, like, what is a good dose of things. What I was reading online, doing my research about how much is good for you to take, is anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 milligrams a day. And a lot of the caplets, or the capsules that you find at like a Costco, for example, or a Sam's Club, tend to be between 300 and 400 milligrams. So I would say, you know, for me personally, I do about 3 of those capsules a day. You know, 1 in the morning, 1 middle of the day, or if I forget during the middle of the day, I do 2 at night before I go to bed. And I tolerate it very, very well. If I'm making a tea, because I have this ginger turmeric tea that I love so much, or if I can get the roots, then I bypass my capsules, you know, for 1 or both of the times of the day. Uh-oh, Sherry's under a tornado warning. I'm going to send you sweet protective blessings right now, Sherry, that you stay nice and safe. You can, Carrie. Carrie's asking about eating the root. You can. It's kind of a heavy thing to sit and chew on, but if you can tolerate it, you can. And turmeric gets activated in your system in different ways. And so we've talked about this before too, how it's good if you can take turmeric with a little oil or take turmeric with a little pepper. Certain things activate turmeric in your system. So that's why it's good to take your turmeric capsules with food, if you can, not just for your stomach, but also so that you make sure that you're activating the turmeric in your system. Okay. And what's interesting to me is, you know, usually when you look back on previous generations, they acknowledge like, oh yeah, turmeric is so good for you. A lot of, at least in my parents' generation and a lot of their friends, have had a lot of heart problems and liver problems and gallbladder problems. And you would think people with, you know, certain levels of toxicity in their bodies would be really eager to learn about, you know, detoxifying and using some of these anti-inflammatory agents, especially things like turmeric that are relatively safe for people. But anyway, I really want to see people get more excited about not only some of these antioxidants, but also the fermented foods and drinks, because I really do think that a lot of this, when we look at the Asian countries, for example, like Japan, where they eat a lot of fermented foods, or Korea, you know, you're not seeing the rates of cancer and digestive diseases and things that we're seeing here in the US. Why is that? And you start to examine their diet a little more closely. I love me some kimchi. I think I might be part Korean, I don't know, but I love fermented foods. I love kimchi. And I just think it's kind of the secret, but we have to get there. You know, and they also, by the way, don't age the same way we do. Have you noticed? So anyway, I give that to you to think about for tonight. Okay, so obviously turmeric is very important in Ayurvedic medicine, which focuses on the health of your digestive tract. It's very good for detoxifying the liver, also helps to stabilize the gallbladder, breaks down fatty foods in the body, also combats H. pylori. Did you know about this? So you know, I try not to digress too much, but there are certain bacteria, H. pylori is one of them, that are common. In fact, a lot of people have H. pylori in their digestive tract, but in some people it overgrows, and it mimics a stomach ulcer, has a lot of the same symptoms that a stomach ulcer does, but you have to be tested for H. pylori to find out if you have it. It's a very simple blood test to take, but if you know anybody who has been having ongoing stomach problems that haven't responded to traditional medicine, you might just ask them, hey, have you been tested for H. pylori? It's common, and we're seeing more of it. I talked to my gastroenterologist about this not too long ago, and we're seeing more of it in women for whatever reason. And so turmeric can actually be helpful in treating H. pylori. Okay, it's actually, did you know H. pylori is the #1 culprit for ulcer-like conditions and diseases in the United States? That almost everyone who has those symptoms and experiences has that strain of bacteria. Okay, and the Chinese have used it for menstrual cramps. That's the other thing to think about. And so I always say, why not? I mean, if you're having terrible menstrual cramps, I don't know about you, after I had children, mine got much, much worse. I thought I knew what pain was. Certainly didn't until I had kids. And so I've been trying to use the tea more around that time of the month to help, not just with digestion, but also to help with cramps. I know, but that's what I'm saying. You start digging and doing a little homework, a little research. And my philosophy, and if you're new tonight, then you haven't heard me say this. If you've been with me for a while, you're hearing me say it for the 1,000th time. I like to blend the best of East and West. I like to follow what Western doctors tell me to do, as long as it resonates with my intuition. And then I like to do my research and find out what are they doing in Asia? What are they doing in India? What are they doing? What's happening in China? What's happening in Korea? And then what can we learn? And even on the level of skincare, for example, did you know that the most cutting edge skincare is not coming out of Europe? It's coming out of Korea. Did you know that? It's coming out of South Korea. They're using ingredients in South Korea that we don't even have access to yet in the United States. I'm starting to import a little bit of it because I'm curious. I'm always one who wants to try the new things. But anyway, you never know where the new latest, greatest thing is going to come out of. And it's fun. I know, right? Okay, so that is turmeric. Now let's talk about anti-aging. I have a skin serum recipe for you. Are you ready? You want this one? This is a good one. Skin serum, anti-aging. This isn't like South Korean ingredients, because in South Korea they're using snails. I'm not gonna make you something with snails. Won't say I'm not trying it, but I don't have that for you tonight. Okay, anti-aging, you ready? These are the best for anti-aging. You need 4 ounces of rosehip seed oil. And yes, you have to use rosehip seed oil. Rosehip seed oil, and by the way, if you don't want to gather all this, we are going to make it and have it through Sage Goddess. But if you want to make your own, that's why I gave you these recipes, in case you want to go off and make your own, which I think is really fun. It's very fulfilling when you make something and you can hold it in your hands and say, I made that. Rosehip seed oil mimics your skin's sebum. So it's very, very good for your skin. It's very good for your hair. And so you can put just a little bit on your ends of your hair. You can put it around your eyes. I like to use it at night before I go to bed, because that's the best time when your skin can really absorb the health benefits of any kind of topical serums or moisturizers that you use. But rosehip seed can actually change the texture of your skin. If you have big pores and uneven skin tone, rosehip seed oil, if you use it long enough, and I'm talking like 6-12 months, can change that. I know all of this because my mom's an esthetician. So if I sound like I somehow have radical knowledge of skincare treatments, it's because I was raised by somebody who was obsessed with this for a long, long time. What's funny is she's not interested in it at all now. As she's gotten older, she's like, oh, forget it. And I'm like, really? You taught me everything I know. You don't want to. I was showing her, the stuff from South Korea, and she was like, I'm not putting snails on my face. I was like, wait a minute. Where's my adventurous mom who wanted to try all the things? This could be good for eczema. There's a lot of things that are good for eczema, by the way. And the lemongrass essential oil is very good for eczema. So if you were to put just a little bit of lemongrass, maybe with some lavender and a nice unscented lotion base, would love to see you try that. Puffy eyes, fermented foods, apple cider vinegar, lots of water, get enough sleep. That is the best. You need to hydrate, give your body the enzymes that are in things like kombucha and fermented foods, and get enough sleep. If you have under eye puffies, I promise you that will help. Okay. So here's your anti-aging serum. Ready? 4 ounces rosehip seed oil. This is like ballpark measurement, so you don't have to do this exactly the right way. You ready? 4 ounces of rosehip seed oil, 10 drops of turmeric essential oil, 10 drops, which is not much. You'll still have a lot left. 10 drops of helichrysum, which is a form of vetiver. And I will write this recipe down for you. Helichrysum, let me see if I can spell it for you so that you... helichrysum, essential oil. 10 drops violet leaf essential oil. You mix all this together and put it in something that has a roller ball. Now this is similar to my timeless serum, not the exact recipe, but similar to it in a way. Helichrysum, can I just tell you right now, if you combine helichrysum, even if you don't put the other ingredients, if you get rosehip seed oil, helichrysum, and turmeric, and you put that into a serum, I am telling you that is one of the most potent natural ways to reduce fine lines and wrinkles on your face that I can share with you, including in your neck area. And if you put a little bit of it on your neck here, go like this. Dab a little bit on, and then go like this and push up with your fingers on your neck. You always, when you're trying to improve your décolleté, you want to use upward motion. Even on your skin here, constantly, even when you're going around your eyes with your eye cream, upward motion. Don't ever pull things down. Don't pull down. Gravity's already pulling you down. You need to pull you up. Yeah, we'll usually try to offer you in the shop at least a few of these different recipes, but I know some of you want to try them yourself too, so I would encourage you to play. If you can't find the things or it doesn't turn out the way you want, you can always come and get my version, but you can play a little bit too. Okay, I told you that turmeric is 1,000 milligrams a day, right? I wanted to really tell you that in case I forgot, 1,000 milligrams a day. Okay, rosewood. Because I've got my best recipe that I saved for last, and it's already 6:20. Are you bored right now? I hope you're not bored. We've been together for an hour and 20 minutes right now. Are you okay? Do you need a break? Do you need a break? Let me find my rosewood. Here are we. Okay. You ready? You guys are good? Okay, good. Good, good, good. Rosewood. Okay, open that little bottle. You have violet leaf as an essential oil. Oh, thanks, you guys. I looked at the clock and I'm like, and we're still going, everybody. I have more to tell you, so can't leave yet. I need 10 more minutes. Can you give me 10 more minutes? Okay, good. No break. Okay, open that bottle. Take a nice deep inhale of that rosewood. I like to do it 3 times. One more time. Blends beautifully with turmeric, by the way. So actually, I still have my turmeric on my wrist. I'm going to add a little bit of the rosewood over it. Again, rosewood generally skin safe for most people. If you want to dilute it, certainly you can. It'll make your vial last longer. That's right, sleepover. Woo! Yeah, that's why, in some cases, violet leaf and helichrysum are very expensive. In some cases, it's better that you leave that to me to make you the serums. There's no, I wish there was like a cheaper alternative that worked as well, and there just isn't. Some of these oils are so powerful and so beautiful and so special, but they also are an arm and a leg. Oh, I'm so glad. Pam says this is her happy place. This is my happy place too. Well, Christine, I mean, you have to kind of search. She's asking about essential oils that I don't have. You have to kind of search. I work directly with suppliers from different, from the countries where those oils are harvested. So I don't work a lot with the retailers. And I hear good things and I hear challenging things. So what I say is, if there's something you really, really want, you should ask, because a lot of times I do have things that aren't on the website. So if you're looking for a specific essential oil, you might, just drop me a line and say, hey, do you have this? I might have it, but it isn't, in the shop. And I've imported a bunch of stuff actually just in the last month or so, a lot of oils from India, really rare essential oils for you. So I have some stuff that I think you'll be interested in. But I also like the idea that you're going to play and try making some stuff too, Like I do want you to do that. I want you to experiment, and I want you to work with the oils and get your hands dirty, start making some things. And I think when you do, it's going to make you love this work as, even more than you do now. because you're gonna develop a nose and get really excited about new combinations that you're discovering, and add your herbs and your oils to your salts and all the things. Like, I want you to play. Janine, I have a pure vanilla, what they call an oleo resin, which is pure vanilla essential oil. So if you're looking for that, let me know, and we can add that to our lineup of oils for you guys. Yeah, no, we will. I mean, usually we're going to try and make, like, I'm probably going to make this, the detox tea and some of these other things for you, but I like the idea that you play with it too. It's kind of, you know, maybe you play half the time and, you know, that would work. Okay, cool. So rosewood, the Latin name, it actually comes from, I just had it, where did it go? There we go. The Dalbergia nigra tree in Brazil, which is endangered. So the rosewood tree is an endangered species of tree. It's very sacred to people in Brazil. This smell is thought to do, again, it's one of those oils where local people who work with this oil think it does everything. It does have antibacterial, aphrodisiac, antispasmodic, antifungal, cephalic, antidepressant, analgesic, deodorant, insecticide, stimulating. What else do you want? I love it too. Although it's really funny. When we used to have customers come into the shop and kind of play with oils before, it's hard for us to do that now, but we used to do that. And people would come in and I'd be like, okay, I want to test and see if you like rosewood. It was always one of the ones that I asked people, like, let me just see if you like this. And I swear 50% of people would go, oh my God, that's the most amazing thing I ever smelled. And the other 50% would go, oh, like they were going to throw up. And I never could guess, you know, I was sort of like, is she going to be one of the ones that smiles or one of the ones that throws up on me? So anyway, people have a love or hate relationship with rosewood, and I think it's an amazing essential oil, but you have to. Xandra, no. So primarily what's responsible, distilling the oil is not the same as harvesting the trees for their limbs. And rosewood is endangered because of furniture. Have you seen carved rosewood furniture? Have you seen things made out of that? It's more popular in Asia, in East Asia, than it is here. But it's this beautiful, like, red, brown, cherry wood, and it carves beautifully. It's extremely beautiful, and people need to stop making furniture out of it, is kind of the upshot. Sarah says it smells like a cleaner. I don't know. You know, Annie doesn't love it. So it's kind of like, but I love that you're exploring. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. You may not like it on its own, but let's try it for a minute. You ready to play? So grab your rosewood and your turmeric. I'm telling you to do it, but I dropped mine and I don't know where it went. So I can't do that. Let me see if I can. But try that. See what you think. Or I'm going to grab it and try it with, I've got my spruce here from our next class. Whoa. I mean, I'm just trying this in front of you, but super fun. This is spruce, hemlock spruce from our April class with the rosewood. And you wouldn't believe it. I mean, it smells nothing. It smells like a flower. It smells more like a rose. What an incredible combination that is. Like, I would wear that as a perfume. It's almost like the North with a floral hint to it. So if you don't love it, don't throw it away. Keep it and try it with your other essential oils. Oh, the hemlock spruce is something else, you guys. By the way, the set for next month is in the shop. So hopefully you saw it's for sale right now. And I actually have a little fun giveaway that I'm doing. I'm going to tell you about it in 2 seconds. Yeah, and it does. It smells different. Christine was saying it smells different on her skin. Oh my God, Sarah's husband makes rosewood guitars. Oh my God, can't even imagine what that must look like. Would you post a picture, if you wouldn't mind, in our group so I could see that? I come from a family where my brother and my cousins are guitar players and musicians, and that would blow their mind, I think, to see a rosewood guitar. So good. Okay. So rosewood is all the things we talked about. It's very good. It actually is used by some for treatment during cancer. It is said to inhibit the growth of cancer cells. So for whatever that is worth to you. It is helpful for emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. It is a heart chakra oil. Heart chakra. Sun sign is Taurus for rosewood. It is a feminine oil. Planet is Venus. Element of water. So this is obviously the yin to the yang, right? This is where, because the other two oils, the other two herbs, and then one other oil, turmeric, is very masculine in my opinion. So the rosewood comes in and gives it a very sweet, very feminine, and a very delicate balance. High vibration oil, it's really good for meditation. And here is your recipe. And again, you can write this all down, but I'm going to give you the recipe. We're also going to be offering this in the shop, but I would love to see you play with that. That's so great. Jacqueline's a 17-year cancer survivor. Cheers to your health. And, you know, my thing is, again, best of East and West, right? Like, we know that there's certain stones that people say are really helpful with cancer treatment and cancer prevention. And so blending the best of Western treatment with Eastern treatment, I think, is the secret. Okay, you ready? This is called Heal It All Balm. Heal It All Balm. I'm going to teach you how to make a balm. Are you ready? It's really fun to make a balm. And again, I would love to see you experiment and play and try making a balm, which is sort of like a solid perfume in a way, like a waxy, do you know what I mean by a balm? It's almost like a lip balm texture. But you make this, keep it in your medicine cabinet. Anytime you get a cut or a scrape or a bruise or burn, like I said, stretch marks, it's really good for after you have a baby. If you have any stretch marks, this is the business. Are you ready? Okay. A lot of ingredients, so stay with me. The best way to make a balm is you take beeswax beads. Have you seen that? They're like little pellets. You can find them easily. If you search beeswax beads or beeswax pellets, they're like little tiny beads of wax. You take 2 ounces of that and 2 ounces of jojoba oil, and you put it into a double boiler, and you melt until it all looks like one melted pool of oil. Okay, 1 part of the jojoba beads and 1 part of the jojoba oil, or the beeswax beads and the jojoba oil, until it's melted down. Does that make sense? Then all you have to do is add your essential oils, and then you got to pour it into a container and let it cool. It hardens like that. So you can't dilly-dally. Once you take it off the heat, you got to start pouring it into whatever containers you want to use, because it's going to harden on you in the bowl, and then you're going to have to remelt it, which isn't the end of the world, but I just want to tell you to work quickly with it once you get it mixed, okay? So here's what I put in my Heal It All balm. By the way, kids love this because it really does work. Kids don't like getting cuts and scrapes, and it heals it up really quick, so your kids will be grateful for this too. And it smells pretty too. So 10 drops of rosewood essential oil, 10 drops of lavender essential oil, 5 drops of peppermint essential oil, 5 drops of eucalyptus essential oil, 5 drops of tea tree essential oil, 5 drops of frankincense essential oil, 10 drops of patchouli essential oil, and 5 drops of palmarosa essential oil. That is literally my whole medicine cabinet. What I did to come up with this recipe was ask myself, what's in my medicine cabinet for cuts, scrapes, burns, stretch marks, all these things, okay? So I'm gonna read off the list of essential oils again. Now you can put this in anything, you guys. I mean, any kind of, you know, glass or ceramic or metal tin that you have, a little jar. You know, sometimes you find those cute little apothecary jars with the cork top. You know what I'm talking about? You could put it in one of those. Put it in something kind of magical looking, I think, you know, so it looks really special and magical for you. Okay, so here's the list of essential oils again. And again, I'll have the whole recipe in your classroom, so you don't have to. You know, and Kathleen's saying she wouldn't use yucca or tea tree, but that's exactly why I give this to you, because you can customize it and say, oh, I don't want the eucalyptus or the tea tree, but instead of that, I'm going to add, I don't know, fir balsam or something like that you like better. So rosewood, lavender, peppermint, eucalyptus, tea tree, frankincense, lemongrass, patchouli, and palmarosa. And you certainly could add turmeric too. It would not hurt you. And that would be 10. Now, anything else you want to add is up to you. So you can do all kinds of fun things. Amy's asking about aloe. You absolutely could add aloe if you wanted to. You could add anything you want to that. I think it would be fantastic. And just explain, Lisa says 8-ball balm. That's exactly what that is. And so, Lauren, I mean both the classroom that's on your sagegoddess.com page when you go to AroMagic, as well as the Facebook groups. I'm trying to put your recipes and things in both places, because not everybody who's in the classes is in the Facebook group. Most people are, but some people have chosen not to. Drops of lemongrass, I said 5. I said 5, just because lemongrass is one of the oils in there, but it's not one of the most important. You know, for me, the centerpiece oils are rosewood, lavender, and patchouli. Do you know how important patchouli and frankincense are for cuts and scrapes? Like, the business, seriously. They are so healing, and almost instantaneously. Now, I have a hard time getting those past my kids because they don't like the smell of frankincense or patchouli. I love it, so I feel like I'm wearing perfume and treating a cut at the same time. But it's really, really good. How do you know when it's boiled enough? Okay, so you just want to melt it, okay? You just want to cook your beeswax with your jojoba until it's melted. Then take it off the heat, add your oils. Don't add the oils while it's hot, because you'll just diffuse them right out of the mix. Take it off the heat, add your oils, stir it. And I usually use a plastic spoon to stir, or something that I don't have to reuse, that I can throw away, because it's going to be coated with wax. So don't use your nice spoons and your nice forks to stir this, okay? I usually use plastic, stir it really quick, and then take it and I start pouring it into the containers. Does that make sense? Yeah, so if anybody in your life hates patchouli, just use something else, you know. If you can get away with the frankincense, I sure do think the frankincense is really important. I really think that's a key. Yeah, Jessica was saying frankincense heals a pimple in like 2 hours. It totally does. It's such a healer. And I think we're only beginning to scratch the surface in terms of what frankincense really does. As I'm seeing a lot of people writing about it, again, with serious illnesses, talking about frankincense as having healing properties. So anyway, that is my very awesome Heal It All Balm. We should call it the Balm Balm. And you need to have that in your medicine cabinet. And it's so good for scars. It does. Prashita's saying frankincense heals viruses. I mean, frankincense heals the inside and the outside. That's why I told you I love that tincture that I buy. God, I wish I remember what that company is. It's Something Made. Something Made is the name of that company in Las Vegas that makes those tinctures. I will find it for you. So with your balm, this is good until you're going to run out. You will run out of this before it goes bad. Because frankincense is a preservative. Patchouli is a preservative. It's not going to go rancid on you. That's the other best part about it. And jojoba has a 2-year shelf life. Your beeswax is going to have a longer shelf life than that. So if you're making tins of this, literally, it's going to last people forever and ever and ever. Isn't that fun? So the proportion beeswax to jojoba, you guys, is just 50-50. So if you use 4 ounces of the beeswax pellets, you have to use 4 ounces of the jojoba. If you use 6 ounces of the beeswax, you got to use 6 ounces of the jojoba. It might work on skin tags. I talked to a friend of mine, and she said the best thing for skin tags is apple cider vinegar applied directly to skin. I haven't tried it. I don't have a skin tag, but they're genetic, with some people have a lot of skin tags. So I would do a little research and see if that works again. So let me go one more time. This so the recipe I'm giving you, by the way, is going to make, if you made little tins like this, I would think it would make about 6 to 8 of them. So it's enough for friends, which is pretty cool. Okay, so again, it's rosewood essential oil, lavender essential oil, peppermint essential oil, eucalyptus, tea tree, frankincense, lemongrass, patchouli, and palmarosa. And I did 5 drops of everything except patchouli I did 10, rosewood I did 10, and lavender I did 10. And then yes, it's 50-50 solid liquid. Does that make sense? Keep it super simple. And again, you're going to tweak this anyway. The only thing I don't want you to tweak is the ratio of the jojoba to the beeswax. Does that make sense? Because that's kind of a hard and fast rule with that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the giveaway that I'm doing, and then we are done for tonight because it's 6:40. Going on 2 hours, kids. Okay, so the April kit is in the shop right now. And I know a lot of you get anxious about, will we have enough and all those things, so I'd highly recommend that you head over and get it. So the The oils for next month are hemlock, spruce, and clary sage. Talk about powerful healers, but these are for manifestation. Next month's theme is manifestation. Kola nut, which I'm doing because it's hard to find and it's really important for you to work with. Kola nut and spearmint. So here's something fun. Are you ready? If you purchase your kit before midnight tonight, I'm going to send one of you, and I think I'm going to do 2 of these. I think I'm going to choose 2 of you. Any 2 who purchase the kit tonight, I'm going to choose randomly. I made a new smudging blend called Clearing for Peace. It's white sage, lavender, and red rose. Oops, I just spilled some on my keyboard. So I'm going to send 2 of you a little tin full of this new smudging blend. I'm going to send you a new incense burner with the handle the way I like it. And then I'm going to send you a full pack of charcoal discs so that you have it for your altar before class starts. Isn't that a pretty little container? So you don't have to put anything in your notes. And I know a lot of you already ordered your sets today, so you're already entered. If you already ordered it today, you're good to go. If you wanted to get the tools for next month, definitely recommend getting them early. And then if you do it tonight before midnight, my time, which is still, you have 6 hours, I'll announce the 2 winners in our Facebook group tomorrow. Kind of fun. They're going to get a whole little bonus incense kit to help them open circle when we gather. Good luck, you guys. I know, isn't that fun? I thought it was fun putting a little toolkit together for you. Okay, so I'm going to open our circle, bringing this counterclockwise, opposite of the way that I brought it to me before. And with that, our circle is open. Isn't that fun? I hope you guys enjoyed class tonight. I so enjoyed my time with you. I always say that. This is my favorite thing to do, my favorite place to be. So thank you for the honor of sharing this important information with you. May everything that you learned tonight be a blessing to you and to those that you know and love. Share this with people that are around you. You know, we are meant to learn these healing tools and to learn these secrets, these mysteries, and then to use them to improve our lives and the lives of the people that we love. So go out there and do that. Did I see the circle is open? The circle is closed. Oh, I love it. You're so welcome, you guys. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. I will see you very soon. We have, oh, by the way, I want to tell you, let me make sure I told you everything I wanted to tell you tonight. Your next bonus session is March 21st. March 21st. Did I tell you everything? Yes, March 21st. And that is when we are going to be learning about our rosemary and our angelica. Rosemary and angelica. Here's the thing. So we still have a few of the bonus session tools left. If you didn't get the rosemary and the angelica, I think there's 50 of them. But you have to order by this weekend or they won't arrive to you in time for you to use them on the 21st. Does that make sense? So if you're in the shop getting your March kit, if you want the tools for the bonus session, they're optional, of course, but they are there, and we have a few of them left if you missed them before. The ceremonial incense should also be in the shop, and then we're going to add this new blend, Clearing for Peace, too, probably sometime next week. We'll keep you posted. I'm so glad you like it. Yeah, so during the bonus session, we're going to focus on angelica, which is one of the oldest and most potent herbs I'm going to be teaching you about this year. Angelica is so important, especially for protection. And then rosemary is one of the master healers. And I'm going to talk to you about what that means. So that is our bonus session on the 21st. Just a little extra gift from me to you to learn more about the herbs that we're working with. Aww. All right, you guys. Well, have a wonderful rest of your evening. I will see you guys very, very soon. Be sure to join me Sunday for full moon at 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'll make sure that the link is in your group, too, so that you get a reminder to join me for the full moon ritual. We've got fun stuff coming up then, too, with Lady of the Lake and Merlin on Sunday. I can't wait to see you then. Take care, you guys. I'll see you later.